Hi, I'm Alex Archibald. I've been buying and selling antiques since I was a kid. Over the years, generations of our family have gotten involved in the business, and I'll search just about anywhere I can to find hidden treasures both big and small. I never know what I'll turn up next. It's about exploring new places, seeing new sights, and having fun. And even though sometimes I get over my head, we try and make things a little better along the way. This is Curiosity. Hi everybody, and welcome to today's episode. If you recall, a while back, I ended up with a couple rare Schwinn bicycles from the 1940s. In fact, they're these bikes right here with the Marman gas tank and engine on the one. This one, which unfortunately cannot find, as of yet, have still not found the engine and tank and all the parts that are meant for this other bike. So because I don't know if I'm going to get them and I don't know what's happening there, I've decided that I'm going to transfer the parts over from the brown bike to the green one because it's a bigger frame and a little bit more desirable bike. But before I do, I've got to do a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of work on these bikes to make this one into kind of a nice looking, hopefully runnable bike. I'll see how close I can get it. Either way, it's going to look really cool. So on today's episode, we're going to do a little swapping, a little cleaning, and try and get one bike built out of the two. So let's go. A couple things. If you recall, that bike, although it was set up to run with an engine, and that's how that was set up. But the rims are a little bit smaller diameter than on the green bike. So it actually makes that bike, although it's the same frame, sit a little bit lower than this green one does. So I've decided to focus my energy on trying to build this green one back up again. Now, I do need to get tires because the tires that are on this thing, I don't know if you can kind of see or not, but they're really, really cracked. And in fact, it's actually broken in one of these spots here that, yeah, right where my hand is. There's a bunch of like stuffing and stuff coming out of there. I shouldn't say stuffing. The tire itself is done. It's shot and the tube is protruding from a big crack in the side. So I've ordered some replacement tires and I've gone with sort of a funkier looking white wall tire that has sort of a retro vibe. That should be here soon. This is the headlight that was on it, which is kind of cool. And it is a neat accessory, but this would have run to the wire here and that would have run back to a little bracket that, you know, it spins, a little generator bracket on the back. I don't have that. So I'm going to pull this off and I'm actually just going to put a retro look battery powered headlight on the front of this. So we're going to take some things off. And we've got the one V-twin drone engine, which was adapted for bicycle use by Marman Industries, who built the engine after World War II. We're going to transfer all that over. Before I do, I may as well get it all cleaned up while it's still in this frame. So right now I'm going to haul this bike outside and give that engine a good washing before it finds its way onto that other frame. Before I do that though, I'm just gonna look. I don't wanna get too carried away with the washing because look, there's the, I think that's where the spark plugs would have gone, right there on either side. And I don't wanna get water down in there. While that's opened up though, I'm gonna put some penetrating oil in to hopefully free up if that cylinder is a bit stuck or seized, that might help it a bit. And then I think this little compartment here on the side of this tank, there we go, oops. Fix that after, yeah, there's the spark plugs right there. Thought I heard them rattling around in there. So I don't know which is the correct one. There's two vastly different sizes. That one's busted. And there's the piece of the broken one. I'll have to look online and see what the correct spark plug is. I can't really do much in terms of cleaning that up. Well, I guess I could thread one of these. If it's the nubbier ones that go in there, I could thread it back in the hole, at least so I don't get any liquid in there for the time being. And yeah, I think that is all there is for spark plugs. So I'll figure out which is the right one before I clean that up. Okay, just shot a little bit of PB Blaster down there. I think this stuff works pretty good actually. Used it before in similar situations. So we got that down the spark plug holes. And when I was taking the plugs out of the side, you might have heard something fall. That was actually this little button. I got it reattached. I had to re-rivet the pivot point on it because it had come apart, but it's all back together and working now. See if I can thread those plugs in. Hopefully they're the right ones. And if these go in, then I can wash this engine off. If not, I'll have to figure out something else, but let's see. I guess I'll also have to figure out spark plug wires at some point too. Yeah, that's the right thread. So those are the right plugs. I just have one that's broken. Oh, there, with all the years of grease and gunk off of there, be a little cleaner to work on. And yeah, it is marked Marman right on the block, so it is the real deal. Not that I had any or many doubts, but now I'm gonna wheel that back in the garage, let it dry off. Well, that bike is drying. I'm gonna start cleaning up this one. So first thing I'm gonna do is take off the bolts that are holding the old headlight on, take off the Bambi bicycle bell. Although it's kind of cool, it's not of the era. Grips are good, grips are appropriate. So, and these wires can come off of here because we're not putting the old style headlight on the front. So we're gonna get those two guys off, and then I can start tearing into the frame and cleaning that up a little bit. Hey, old headlight is gone, and I should probably qualify what I was saying about this. I said this wasn't of the era. Bambi definitely was of the era that this bike was around. But this bike bell is probably made more in the 1960s, mid to late 60s, somewhere in there. So that's what I meant, that the bike bell itself is not of the era to match the bike. But Bambi, contextually, yeah, absolutely that is. Anyway, it's off now. Next for the wiring. I have flipped the green bike upside down to kind of, start taking the wheels off. And I wanted to show you this. The braking system is really cool. It has little tiny brake shoes, just like an actual motorcycle or a tiny little itsy bitsy car. Anyway, it's super cool. It was a little tricky to get off, but we did get it off and out, which means I can now worry about getting this tire taken off the rim, and I can start cleaning up the plated outer edge. Not too, I don't want it to be like brand new chrome. I do want it to have some patina, but we're definitely gonna get rid of the surface rust that's on there. Incidentally, these frames were made specifically for the Marman V Twin. These are an MP97 frame with the Springer front end. So very, very rare considering they're only made for a couple of years. Like I said, just 46, I think 46 and 47. Anyways, we'll have a couple of really good bikes, and that also will encourage me to keep that frame in case we ever do find the other bits and pieces in that garage. But in the meantime though, I'm gonna get this ready to take the new tire and tube that I've ordered and just save myself a bit of time when that all arrives. While I have the wheels off and I'm waiting for tires to come back in, I wanted to point out a couple of things. One is, I was incorrect. I thought that it had a splined spot that the V-belt went on. It's wrong. There's meant to be this big round insert that goes onto your spokes, which I don't have, and I had to order one online, but I did find them. So I'm waiting for that to come in. But while I have the wheels off, it's a good opportunity for me to clean up all this dirt, the years of dirt, and I might hammer out some of these little dents that are in there too, and just clean up the inside of the fenders before I can flip it over and polish the outside. Also, there's the serial number is at the top there, and then we're gonna clean up all the grease and stuff from around there, just kind of make it a little tidier. Well, good news. My new tires have arrived, and I know they're kind of an unusual color. They're like this sort of reddish brown with the white wall, but I thought it would look kind of cool and sort of vintage with new tubes. I also got a new headlight, which I'll put on in a bit, and a new taillight, which I've already put on. And look, this one works with LED, so you can turn it on like that, or you can make it flash when you ride or off. So let's get the tires on the rims and I can flip this thing over. One new wheel, two new wheels. Unfortunately, I have to take this one back off again at some point because there's a belt ring that goes on there that the V-belt attaches to for the motor. But I wanted to put it on so I could flip it over and start attaching the tank and the engine and the other stuff. So let's do that. Let's start attaching parts. Well, she's back on her feet again. And now that I've got it upright, I can start putting some of these fun parts on. So there's my replica headlight, which looks like it's of the right era. It's even got the Bakelite looking sort of plastic switch on the front, except it's LED, a little brighter, and I don't have to worry about running it off of the wheel. I'm going to attach it right here to the main bolt for adjusting the steering for the handlebars. So we got to loosen that off completely, which I've already done. This comes out, and I've got to make sure it will thread that hole right there, which actually looks like it's a little bit too small. So I'm going to have to widen that hole out a bit, that one right there, with a drill. I've got a drill bit that's meant for doing just that. So we'll make it just big enough for that bolt to go through. That'll mount perfectly just like that. And then the headline at the front. Headline up at the headline. Why do I keep saying headline? Headlight just atop here. So it should look all right. That should do it. Well, I'll be honest. I put it here, looked really stupid. Put it there, that's a bit more like it. So, headlights in place. It's got this handy little push button that allows you access. So I do have to put some batteries in there, but a headlight I shall have, and it looks just right on that bike. In fact, the original one that was on it is a little bit bigger. It's this guy here. This will be non-functioning because I don't have all the bits for it, but you can tell it's similar in style with the same type of knob on the top and everything. So it kind of has that sort of throwback look. So it's not going to look out of place like putting a brand new headlight that isn't styled right for it. So we got a taillight, we got a headlight, handlebars are raised up and adjusted, which should help accommodate that tank. Now let's start getting the engine and tank put on. Taking the engines out is actually pretty easy. There's a clamp there and a clamp there. And when you take off the two little bits that hold it in, you have a loose motor. I'm gonna get both hands on this and we're gonna put it in the new frame. Next up, I gotta put the gas tank back on. And although it's only been a short while since I took off the tank from the other bike, I kind of don't remember how some of this goes together. So let's hope I remember and figure it out. I know these brackets go on. I think something like that, they go on there. Anyway, that's why you don't want to leave something sitting for too long, especially if you don't have a manual, because you got to rely on your memory to reassemble. But I'm sure I can get this sorted out. I'm sure these clamps went on first to hold the tank in place. And then, actually, hang on. This side went on first or second? Actually, it might have been this side went on first. Because look, that's got the proper size holes there for that. Yeah, I think this side goes on first and then that attaches to it. So, whew. See if I remember. I was able to get all the bits and pieces transferred over from the brown bike to the green one. I've got my new sort of retro tires on there, my new retro headlight and tail light on the back, and it is a functioning pedaling bike right now. Now, I did order new spark plugs for it, and I will say it has compression. It's not stuck, it has compression. I think this thing will run, but I can't make it run until I get the extra pulley for the back wheel. So in the meantime, I have the most Pee Wee Herman looking 1940s bicycle. But what a treat to get this reassembled and back together, and gave me a really good chance to clean up the frame, pound some dents out of the fenders, and it turned out pretty good. So let's hope the fellow calls me back and says he found the other tank and engine, because these things are rare as hen's teeth. It's really hard to find parts, even online. So for me to find one of these things, or two of them, in a garage was pretty ridiculously cool find. I just really hope he didn't lose all the other parts. But either way, I've got one, and that's better than none. Guys, thanks for watching today's episode. We'll see you all soon, and as always, bye for now.